Greetings, one and all. I'm Elk810, at least that's my name on YouTube, and I'd like to talk once again about crowdfunding efforts. Now, I realize it's been a long time since that first video I made, and I apologize for that. My vacation went a lot longer than I expected it to be. I went to Florida and Washington, D.C., for those of you curious, and what was supposed to be a vacation for a week and a half ended up lasting 2 weeks and a half. And on top of that, the moment I got home, college classes were about to start for me again the very next week, so I had to get ready for that. So, yeah, a lot of things have happened to me, so I'm very happy to get back into the swing of things again. Now, when I looked for more crowdfunding efforts, I aimed before to have at least 2 for every video to talk about, but so far I've only found one that really interests me. Now, a lot of you probably heard about the Kickstarters for Mighty Number 9, the new Mega Man spiritual successor, and some of you have probably heard about the very recent Kickstarter for the new Shantae game from WayForward Games. They're both great Kickstarters, but I'm not going to talk about any of those. Those get a lot of good press on their own. What I'd like to do is focus on the little guys, the underdogs who try to do what they can for whatever project they've got, but they don't get a lot of attention out there. Maybe they're just new people starting out in their field, and they have a really good idea. And so far I found one very interesting Kickstarter in Pocket Rumble, a new 8-bit styled 2D fighting game for Windows, Mac, and Linux computers. Now, when you look at Pocket Rumble, it looks a lot like the kind of game you would expect to see on, say, the Neo Geo Pocket Color, or the Game Boy Color, or the Game Gear. I personally don't have a Neo Geo Pocket Color. I want one though. So yes, Pocket Rumble is meant to be in the style of those games, and it works off of a two-button system, and it's meant to focus less on long strings of combos like, say, Marvel vs. Capcom or Skullgirls might, and it's meant to be a more strategic game, as I imagine fighting games on the Neo Geo Pocket Color worked. I would have much more to say about those kind of games, but honestly, I've never played a Neo Geo Pocket Color game before. The closest thing I've ever played was Killer Instinct on Game Boy, and I'm pretty certain this is going to be a lot better than that. For one thing, although Pocket Rumble has a ton of original characters, it actually features a character from Dive Kick, the most recent indie fighting game out now, as a special boss. Apparently Kick is going to be in the game, and he has his dive kick from Dive Kick, and just like in that game, it's a one-hit KO move. On top of that, every other character in the game pretty much has their own set of rules for how they gather energy for their mighty combos, or whatever you call them. One of these characters, for example, gets his energy from dealing attacks that end up blocked, and once his energy's full, the last hit he sends out, which is blocked, as a guard crush. So yeah, this game is looking very exciting. I am very happy to see a fighting game that looks like this, that tries to come in the style of a Neo Geo Pocket Color game. That's a very cool idea. I don't know about you, but I really like it. As a matter of fact, after the success of Skullgirls, Yatagarasu, and Dive Kick, I am very excited to see more indie game development studios tackling fighting games. For a while now, indie devs anywhere almost never wanted to attempt a fighting game. And I can imagine why. Fighting games are a lot harder than you think they are to make. I mean, balancing the game, giving it a somewhat competitive edge to make it good, that is very tough. there is a ton of math involved, and I personally am not good at math. Also, if there's one thing I learned from the Skullgirls Indiegogo, making just one character for your fighting game is incredibly expensive. You have no idea unless you looked at the stats yourself. But Pocket Rumble has no voices from what I can tell, so at least they won't have to pay voice actors. So for now, Pocket Rumble has 16 days until it hits its goal. It needs to hit its goal of $16,000 within the next 16 days. So far it has a little over $4,000. This thing is almost halfway through and it's not even halfway funded. That makes me kind of sad. So if you like this game, please put some money to it. Put some money into Pocket Rumble. I don't care if you put in $5 or $1. At least put in something to show your support. I would really like this to come through. Speaking of which, as far as money goes, the lowest reward is $10, which nets you the game on PC, Mac, or Linux. And from there you can contribute more to get a soundtrack. You can get a PDF strategy guide for the game, which according to them is meant to look like a retro strategy guide, I guess. Hang on a sec, let me see if I have an example of that. Okay, so the closest example I can find in my own collection would be this old strategy guide for Super Smash Bros. Melee. So I imagine their PDF strategy guide is going to look a little something like this. Perhaps. Who knows, but you might want to consider investing for that. You can get a t-shirt, you can get a poster, you can get a pixel art of yourself or any character. You can get a chance to Skype or call one of the developers on the phone. Actually, there aren't a whole lot of rewards for this game. The highest reward tier goes up to $300, and I don't see that a whole lot. Pocket Rumble is also on Steam Greenlight, as a matter of fact. So I would definitely vote for this on Steam Greenlight since it's free. In fact, I'll put a link to the Greenlight page below. Pocket Rumble looks like a very exciting game. I'm very much looking forward to checking it out. If it actually does meet its goal, or even if it doesn't, hopefully it can come to be somehow. So, next, I'll go over a recap of the crowdfunding efforts that I talked about last time. And I'm very happy to say that both Yatagarasu and SOS Saga Otome game were complete successes. It's funny, I didn't actually expect Yatagarasu to actually make its goal, but I'm really happy it did. It ended up with over $118,000 out of a goal of $68,000. Nice, almost twice its goal. And it ended up with a few stretch goals to boot. The game now has GGPO support, or at least it will soon. They are given the chance to rebalance the existing characters already in the game, as well as give them all English voices. There's going to be a new vocal song, and we're going to get a third extra character, which will bring the character count up to 11. So that's very nice. I cannot wait to see this game come out. I've already put $10 to this, so I'm gonna get the game very soon. I have no idea when, probably next year I'm guessing, but maybe sometime I'll record myself playing that game. I would love to practice the game and get good enough to actually impress some people. As for SOS Saga, it's made $3,090 out of a goal of $1,200. Over twice its goal. That is not bad. There's been no stretch goals for SOS Saga, but either way, the game has the funding it needs to go forward, so I'm very happy to see it come to fruition. It should be done... Actually, I'm not sure when it'll be done, but it'll be out soon on Windows, Mac, and Linux. I put $5 to this actually, so I already got the digital copy of the original SOS Saga webcomic. I actually haven't read that yet. I'll have to read that later. So, there's been a lot of happy things going on crowdfunding sites, and hopefully Pocket Rumble will see a lot more effort in the next 16 days. As for this video going forward, I think I'm going to start doing this every 2 weeks instead of every single week, just to give myself more time for more crowdfunding efforts to pop up, because I really didn't find a whole lot of interesting stuff this time. Also, I want to remind you all to show me some Kickstarters or Indiegogos or any other crowdfunding projects that you think are interesting enough for me to talk about. If you have one, like if you started one and you want me to look at it, it doesn't matter what kind it is, I will look at it, and if I find it interesting, I'll share it in a video. Now, there is one rule that I forgot to talk about last time, and it's that I only want to talk about crowdfunding efforts that have at least more than 15 days until they reach their goal. Because if there's not a whole lot of time left, there's really no point in making a video and trying to take the time to share it to as many people as possible. I realize I broke that rule already with Yatagarasu, which I think had 13 or 14 days to go by the time I made my last video, but that's really gonna be the first and last time I make that mistake. Also, I really wanted to talk about Yatagarasu. So, to the devs who are making Pocket Rumble, Pocket Fighter's a completely different game. By the way, everyone out there should play Pocket Rumble. That's an excellent Capcom fighter. It was also the first one I ever owned. But to the devs at Cardboard Robot Games, the guys who are making Pocket Rumble, good luck to you guys. I really hope you make your goal, because I really want to see your game come to fruition. In fact, I would love for more indie developers out there to try and make more fighting games. I personally love fighting games. I love them to death. I loved them for a very long time. And the more fighting games out there, the better. Well, the more good ones anyway. I'm Elk810. I'll see you some other time.